Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, where's my brethren in the UK? Shout out to the UK. And speaking of the UK, wanted to talk about this because this was announced as a fight on the Anthony Joshua Joseph Parker undercard at the end of the month. Josh Kelly, 5-0, top prospect, Olympian, getting a lot of hype, getting a lot of notoriety. A lot of people like watching him fight. They find him entertaining. I'll say myself, I find him entertaining. Um, I like watching him fight. So he'll be fighting on the undercard of Anthony Joshua's fight with Joseph Parker in Wales at the Principality Stadium, as it was recently announced that he'll be fighting none other than former world champion Carlos Molina. Um, Now, my initial thoughts of this matchup are simply this: this is a good step up for Josh Kelly. In his sixth fight to be fighting a guy like a guy who's um, got a wealth of experience. Carlos Molina has been in there with a lot of name fighters. If you go through his resume, the guy has picked up some wins over good names. You look at the likes of Kermit Cintron, you look at the likes of Corey Spinks, Ishe Smith. He's got wins against those guys. Although I will say in the Ishe Smith fight, a lot of people thought that Ishe Smith had won that fight, but he's been in the likes. He's beaten those guys on paper. He's lost to the likes. He's also fought but lost or drawn to the likes of Ariznedi Lara, Mike Alvarado, Cornelius Canine Bundridge, and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So, not a bad guy to fight in your sixth fight if you're Josh Kelly. Now, it is worth noting that this Carlos Molina probably isn't the same Carlos Molina from years ago because he's coming off of two losses to two what appears to be no-name fighters. Guys he fought one guy in the Dominican Republic and he fought another guy in Paris, France. So and he lost to both of them via unanimous decision. So on paper, you'd be led to believe that Carlos Molina is past it. He's not the same fighter from years ago, which is expected. Eddie Hearn probably wouldn't put Josh Kelly in there with him if he was in his prime because that'd be too dangerous of a fight for a guy that they're trying to build up in Josh Kelly. But it's a good first fight. For Josh Kelly, he has, he's fought in a couple decent guys here and there for his first five fights. But I think he's going to be one of those guys in boxing just due to the Olympic experience, due to the talent, the natural talent that he has. He's going to be one of those guys that gets fast tracked. I could definitely see him getting a world title shot, 15th, 16th, 17th fight. So we'll see how it continues to go. But here's what Josh Kelly had to say, or I should say not Josh Kelly, but actually, yeah, Josh Kelly said this. This is what Josh Kelly said in regards to his fight with Carlos Molina. He said, I quote, Adam Booth said it's time for me to step up, so let's go. I feel this is a real test against a proven fighter. He's a former world champion, so you can't deny that this is my biggest fight to date. I can't wait to step between those ropes in the Cardiff, Wales and prove myself into the mix. He's never been stopped before, so it says a lot. Just look at the names on his record that he's been in with. I know how tough he will be. I want to perform on the big stage. I'm very excited to say the least. I feel physically, mentally, and emotionally ready for this big step up. And I've learned a lot in the fights that I've had and the training over the past year, and I also got to know myself even more. So Josh Kelly is very, very excited for this fight, I'm glad I read that quote because I didn't even recognize that. Carlos Molina has never been stopped in his over 40. Wait, was it? Yeah, damn near 40 professional fights for Carlos Molina. And like you said, he's been in there with some top quality names. So you would think all those fights against that and he's also beating guys that maybe aren't as notable but are somewhat names in boxing. A guy like Ed Paredes beating him as well. So with that being said, Carlos Molina is not the best fighter in the world or anything like that, but for your sixth fight, to be fighting a guy like that, it's a pretty good step up. I'm looking forward to a good performance from Josh Kelly because that's a guy that, from what I've seen, not just in the 5 fights he's had against whatever opposition, but going back, watching some of his amateur fights, learning about just his amateur career. This is a guy that I think when I did my prospect review videos, he might have been the very first fighter I said when I was reviewing a prospect. I said this guy will be a world champion at some point. And I genuinely believe that. I think this guy has the goods to be a world champion. Is it maybe a little premature to say that? Maybe it is, but I think from what I've seen and the talent he has, and not just the talent he has, but it's also because boxing isn't always about the talent you have. It's also who you have behind you. He has Eddie Hearn behind him, okay? Eddie Hearn knows how to guide fighters. He knows how to build them up. And he's probably been doing that better than anybody in boxing over the last 2-3 years. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he does. And Carlos Molina, when he's in there, he can be a very rough and rugged fighter. Josh Kelly's a guy that likes to stay outside and stay pretty. So I kind of hope he goes through some adversity because I really want to see what's the character behind the talent he has. So that's what it is. Josh Kelly fighting on the Anthony Joshua, Joseph Parker undercard against former world champion Carlos Molina in the 6th professional fight. So let me know what you guys think of this matchup in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every video, my name is Brendan Taylor. And you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.